Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to review Tom Cruise's newest movie, American Made, that is directed by Doug Liman. And it's a second collaboration they've done together, the first one being Edge of Tomorrow. And this is a movie that, if you weren't told this was based on a true life story, there's no way you'll believe it, because after watching the movie, the story is utterly unbelievable that this was actually someone's life. Now, I don't know how much creative license was given to this movie and how much they've Hollywoodized it and exaggerated it, but even if a quarter of it is true, then it's unbelievable, really. And after doing a little bit of research about the guy, Barry Seal, who Tom Cruise plays in this movie, I don't think it's too far from the truth, really. So, for those that don't know, this movie is based on a guy called Barry Seal, who is played by Tom Cruise. And at the beginning of the movie, he's an airline pilot, and he's pretty bored with his life. And within the first 5 minutes of the movie, he gets recruited by the CIA, and they want him to give up his job and work for them and basically fly illegal weapons into Nicaragua, I believe it is, as there's an uprising there and the US wants to arm the rebels and the guerrillas over there so that they can fight against the government. So he ends up flying illegal weapons over to Nicaragua, arming the rebels, and then he also ends up working for the Colombian drug lords, and so he's taking guns one way, he's bringing drugs the other way back. Then he's got to bring rebels from Nicaragua to the US to get trained, take more weapons, more drugs. So he's back and forth taking drugs and weapons, and he avoids all the authorities because he's given all the intelligence by the CIA, so he knows where to fly to avoid getting caught. And he ends up making an absolute fortune. I mean, millions, in fact billions, I think. Incredible amounts of money, to the point where, comically in the movie, there are scenes where he's got so much money that he can't launder it fast enough. So his home, every cupboard in the house is filled full of money. He's burying it in the backyard, and he's even having to hide it in the stables with the horses. It's just so much money. He doesn't know what to do with it in the movie. But as you could imagine, being involved in such affairs doesn't end well or go anywhere good. And he ends up getting in too deep with the US government and the Colombian drug cartels. And it becomes a scramble by the end to get out alive and safe with him and his family and in one piece. Staying out of jail and getting without getting killed, all that kind of stuff. And I have to say, I had an absolute blast with this movie. Even though it's been getting good reviews, I've kind of gone off Tom Cruise a little bit. I've been a big fan of his for years. But the last film I truly enjoyed of his was Edge of Tomorrow. I've not been enjoying his movies lately, and maybe it's just because I've still got that sour taste in my mouth from The Mummy this year. I was bitterly disappointed with that movie. But this, I have to say, is Tom Cruise's best film for years. His best performance for years, definitely. It's the Tom Cruise you remember. He's got that charisma, he's got that charm. It's like a cross between the character who played in Night and Day and Jerry Maguire, all combined together. He's clearly enjoying this movie, and his performance reflects that. Really, really good performance by Tom Cruise. And it reminds you why he became the megastar that he is with this kind of performance. Great performance by him. It's really well directed by Doug Liman, very talented director, as we know, and he's put like this 80s filter on the movie, so it feels very retro because it's set in the late 70s, early 80s. So it feels very authentic as well, and it kind of feels a bit cheaper than it actually is. It's got a decent budget, this movie. I think about 50 million it was made for, but it feels like it was made for a quarter of that. It's with that filter and what have you. I think they've done a really, really good job of that. In regards to issues I have with this movie, the only real issue I have with this movie is because of its lighter approach. It's like a cross between a comedy and a drama, and a bit of action thrown in as well. It takes the subject matter quite lightly, and it's quite comedic. When the movie tells you that you should feel tension, or you should get invested in the drama that's happening, and the risk that the characters are in. You don't feel that because of the tone of the movie. It's quite a comical, comedic approach to it all. And so when the movie tells you should feel like tense and worried, you don't feel like that because of how the film's built up to those moments. It's been mainly light approach. But that's my only real criticism of this movie. I have to say, this is a really good movie, and if you want to watch a Tom Cruise movie and be reminded why he is Tom Cruise and he's such a great actor, this is it, definitely. It's a blast, this movie, and I do highly recommend it, and it is certainly worth